Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving School.
Hello and welcome to O Run the Town. This is what we're going to talk about today. We have a second trip to West London. It ends in defeat at Craven Cottage after what I'm going to say is our best performance of our return to the Premier League. Felt quite unlucky that we left there with nothing, and I think we deserve more from that performance. We'll look at the game in more detail in a moment. We're going to have a little chat about refereeing decisions in the Premier League too. We asked you guys, do they favour the established team? We got your 3-word reviews and much, much more. Tonight, as always, I have with me Bataro and Steve. Hello, fellas. How you going?
Good evening, everyone.
Hello, mate. Very good, thank you.
I think we're just going to get straight into it, really. I mean, first off, I want to mention something that's been bugging me since Saturday, and that's all the vitriol that we've got for not being nice at the minute's silence for Mohamed Al Fayed. Now, let me just say this. I was in the stadium. If you saw me, thank you for saying hello. But they didn't really announce it, did they? They come out clapping with those bunch of flowers, the two wreaths, they come out, and everybody was applauding. You couldn't really hear any announcements.
No, I was going to say that the announcements were muffled, muted. You know, you couldn't make out on earth anything that they were saying. There was the minute's applause.
But it wasn't a minute's applause. That's the whole point. It wasn't a minute's applause.
No.
It was spontaneous applause when they walked out. I thought it was a minute's applause.
Yeah.
So I just joined in with it. But when there was some singing going on, when they blew the whistle for a minute's silence, but that was soon shushed. And it's really, I'm going to have to stop reading blooming social media. I'm literally going to stop it because it's really, really getting me down at the moment. Unfair.
There's an awful lot of really precious little puppies that follow Premier League teams. Do you remember in the close season when the Lansbury he kicks who he wants video came out again, and there was some little Arsenal fan and he was crying his eyes out basically. You know, just get a grip.
The media interest from us, we can briefly touch on it right now before we talk about the game. The media interest from us has gone from this is a fairy tale team to you've got no chance. You've got no chance whatsoever. And we brought this one up last podcast that we did, Garth Crooks. Mm-hmm. I thought he was a singer, but that's Garth Crooks. But Garth Crooks was a footballer, Patari. Anyway,
thank you, mate.
If
Cheers.
you have any opinion on what he just said, because what he said for me was, why is he even getting a platform to give his opinions on?
Exactly.
I'll tell you why he's getting a platform, because he's exactly what the BBC love, and that is dinosaurs that are really dull. Crooks, Shearer, Lineker, Murphy, Savage, they're all the same. They're all dinosaurs. They've got nothing new to say, lazy journalists and boring as hell.
They probably have a test before they actually sign up for the BBC. Are you A, a knobhead, and B, like you say, boring as, whatever. But
I mean, I only remember one thing from Garth Crooks, and that was a bullet header. One. That's all I remember about him, to be honest with you. His opinion is not relevant, it's not up to date, and it certainly ain't interesting.
And the fact that he's coming out with all his crap as well, like defending what he said, he's just an idiot. I mean, to be fair, we shouldn't give him too much airtime because...
Do you know what? We shouldn't give him any airtime, but the thing, I think this is what's bugging me, because me being me, I'm getting on that social media and I want to reply, and then I suddenly think, actually, maybe I shouldn't say that. Mm-hmm. And I delete it. And then I think, well, I have to say something now because I've decided to say something. So I put something up. And, you know, most people agree with what you're saying. There are some other fans out there that want us to do well, but every single other fan in that division are just dismissed us.
Are Sheffield United and Burnley getting the same level of
absolutely not
abuse? Yeah.
Just
it's
briefly,
quite embarrassing though. Sorry, I saw something earlier. I don't know if you boys saw it. Excuse me. Man City fan. I mean, I don't know how much of a Man City fan he is. He's probably 10 years old or whatever.
The influencer.
Yeah, oh, that's the one. Yeah. And like, sitting there going, oh yeah, like your bum club will never get anywhere near this. And we're thinking, congratulations, you've got multi-billions and billions to spend, and you're sitting there trying to dig out Luton Town. What is wrong with these people? They're just like narrow-minded and thick.
And again, before we move on to the game itself and any 3-word reviews, there is sometimes the vitriol goes further than that, and it's like I was really proud of Luton on Saturday when they left that pitch. I was totally gutted. We got nothing out of it.
Yeah.
So to stay behind, and most of the section stay behind. In fact,
vast majority.
Amount,
yeah.
And applaud them, and then get all the crap you get off of all the opposition. It just winds me up, and I've got to stop. It's not good for my health. Anyway, let's have a look at your 3-word reviews.
Look, it's in the famous side of his head.
Of Fulham 1, Luton 0. Ad said we should have got points. Harry said our best performance. Sam, the next 3 huge. Simon, worst referee ever. We might touch on that in a bit. Phil, another keeper error. Joe, no killer instincts. Mark, can't fault effort. Reese, improving every game. And Cam, finish our chances. Anything take your fancy out of that lot?
Improving every game. That's for me, because that's I think what everyone was saying on social media afterwards. Obviously, sometimes you don't want to see it. You're worried what you might see after the game, and obviously people arguing, fighting. But I think that was the general consensus, wasn't it? Like the whole fact of we look a lot better than what we did game 1. And so, game week 1 even.
Little disclaimer, if I say something, it's not negative about the team. If we're at a level, then that's fine. That's what we're at the level at. But, this is why we do this, to sort of dissect certain things and that. So that, this will unfold as we go on. But worst referee ever, Michael Salisbury take a bow. I mean, it was so inept. You've got to think, is there an agenda? And even the linesman down on the left-hand side, if you touched a Fulham player, he would roll around in agony, and you couldn't give it quick. So, it is absolutely shocking. Another keeper error. Yeah, I'm afraid so. He was on his heels. Yeah. He was on his heels, and that's a real shame. Yeah. No killer instinct, again, something that, we'll talk about, but you've got to say it. If the players are playing and this is their level, fine, and I accept it. But if we're talking about what we need to do to get points and stay up, then no killer instinct is a fair comment. Any that
take your view, Bataro?
Well, should have got points as well. That's another one. I genuinely felt, honestly, like I said, I unfortunately couldn't be there. I had my son for the weekend, but I streamed it. I watched it. I mean, no, I didn't. You can't stream football these days, can you?
Yeah, no, you didn't stream it, but you may have done.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I mean, I don't know what you boys felt like being there. I was genuinely gutted. I felt so miserable for the first time in a long time.
I was about to say that because I think I said to Steve on the way out the stadium, this is the worst I've felt. When we went to Brighton, I was, we were just enjoying the day. At Chelsea, I thought we did all right, and I thought we could have done a little bit better, but that one really hurt. And you're right, and it's the first time I've walked away from the stadium absolutely gutted. The other two was expected, but I genuinely thought we had a chance of that.
We were good enough to get at least a point. I'm going to say that, at least, because do you know what? If we come out there 2-1 winners or 2-0 winners or whatever, 1-0, whatever, so be it. I think you could have turned around and gone, do you know what?
Can say they weren't peppering Kaminsky's goal at all. He wasn't threatened a lot at all.
For all their possession, it was just very much inactive, progression, really, wasn't it?
Well, let's look at the team. The team had 4 changes from the West Ham start. Conga, Lockyer, Kabore and Brown started. Probably not unexpected. We could have tried something different at Fulham. Bataro, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, look, I was a bit surprised, that Adebayo was out of the team, but then there again, I thought Jacob Brown, I'll give him a chance. And do you know what? I thought he played very well, His work rate is second to none, and he's obviously wearing that number 19 shirt, which I think James Collins used to wear. Similar sort of work rate as well.
Steve Howard.
Yeah, so yeah.
I think Luton started very well. We had a nice early chance with Chong being played through, but his shot was saved. I mean, I think that was probably one of the first opportunities for us. He's very, very quick to that ball. That's the first thing I would say. Maybe if he had a bit of support up with him, it would have been different.
Well, I think it was such a quick break though to him, and he just got his head down. Unfortunately, he just couldn't get that yard on the defender where he could cut across to get the angle. But he was kept pretty straight. So when it came to the time of shooting, he really didn't have hardly anything to go at.
I mean, I personally don't think he could have done anything different, to be fair.
No.
Like, I think that's all you could say. Like,
No,
he could have done.
you could say, but just that, if he'd have got like a step earlier, or if their guy was a step behind, then he could have cut across him, got in front of him.
Maybe change direction, quit another two, and
But no, I mean, he'd done everything he could, got a good shot off.
You could see how the game was going to go sort of quite early, really. A lot of Fulham possession, a lot of passing, forwards, backwards, sideways, all that sort of stuff, but mostly sideways and backwards and not creating much.
This is the thing. All they kept focusing, right? Obviously, what I was watching, all they kept focusing on was, Fulham have made, in the first, I don't know, half hour or whatever, 204 passes or something like that. And
Yeah,
we only made
40 odd, yeah.
And I'm thinking,
complete nonsense.
So what? But probably about 150 of their passes were in their own half. Well, maybe not, but it's quite as, big as that. But you see what I'm saying? It's a joke.
Yeah, there are times when you pass the ball just to sort of, try and create some space and move it in that. But, just passing the ball, just so you get another click on a bloody machine.
I suppose Arsenal did that yesterday, didn't they? They beat up Everton 1-0. They weren't great. They were awful, to be fair. I mean, how many passes they string back together? I mean, probably need to look at that later. But, probably go, they're a great team, this and that. And also, they'll get slated. Sorry, Fulham are great because they played against us. It's just ridiculous, but, yeah.
I don't remember many clear chances from Fulham. I think we sort of weathered the storm at the very beginning, and then I think we actually grew into the game quite a lot, and we had a lot better. Well, when I say we had a lot better possession, we used our possession better,
wisely, yeah.
Wisely.
I mean, to be fair, go on.
I like Lokonga. I thought he had a good debut.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I thought he made himself available to get the ball a lot. I thought he, put his foot in where it was required and that. So I thought he had a pretty decent debut, to be honest with you.
I don't think you can criticise the team at all, or the squad, or the tactics. I just feel that when you get those chances at this level, if you get 3 chances, you've got to take at least one of them. Colton Morris had a really good chance around about 25 minutes in a little sort of I'd call it almost a melee at the front of the box on the left-hand side.
And from Brown, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
he headed it back. It came back to him over the defender, and he just snatched that. He did have a little bit of time where he could have taken it down. That
do you think across
the
keeper?
I mean, look, this is the thing. At the time, I was like, unlucky, this and that. But when I look at it back, like you say, he had time and space. He could have took it down, and volleyed it, or hit it, or whatever. But
he might have been a bit apprehensive, because of the desperation to score. Maybe he didn't have that sort of ice cold thought process.
He knows as well that he's good enough to hit them volleys in. Because I mean, look at last season. I'm sure he scored a volley at home. I can't remember who it was against. Same sort of thing, like the other side of the goal at home in the Oak Road end, and I'm sure he absolutely levered it first time, hit the keeper and went in kind of thing. So it's one of those ones. It's.
You sense the feeling that we were going to get a chance, and the best chance of the first half came for us. Jacob Brown. Bataro, was you out of your chair at that point?
Oh, I thought it was in, man. I was celebrating like a right tit. My son was probably just looking at me going, "What are you doing, Dad? You absolute knob." I was sitting there about to just pick him up, and the next thing I was like, he's missed.
Well, I don't think, do you know what? I thought the move for the goal, Steve, was really good.
Yeah,
the way the distribution of the ball down the right-hand side.
Yeah.
The crossing itself was perfect.
Kabore was a real threat. He put some good crosses in all afternoon.
He was class, yeah.
So, dare I ask this, should Jacob Brown score?
Well, see, this is the thing we discussed before the podcast. Like, I mean, I said to you, both gentlemen, I said, do you think, but maybe we've been a bit harsh in saying that he could, obviously, for me, he should have scored. I think we all think he should have scored.
It's got to be on target.
But the way that he, his body, I don't think it was it's almost like he had to sort of rotate his body slightly, and it was like a diving header. It was like a twist, wasn't it? It was almost like a...
Yeah. This is probably one of the reasons for the disclaimer earlier. It was a good effort. Mm-hmm. It was close. And if that's the level that we're at, then that's absolutely fine. I accept it. Mm-hmm. However, it should have been on target. I'm not saying it should have been a goal. It should have been on target. It was a free header, and you very rarely get a free header at this level.
I think if that's on target, that goes in anyway.
Probably. The keeper just wasn't moving because it was almost sort of back across him. So it has to be on target, in my opinion.
Disappointed because I thought it was going in from where I was standing.
Did you think he should have scored, Dave?
I thought he should have gone in. I thought it was going in from where I was standing.
The thing is, as well,
it
was one of those moves where with each pass, the support got louder and louder and louder. So when the cross come over, if that had gone in, it would have been absolutely mental. It's one of those goals that you love it when they go in because you go absolutely nuts. and then he's.
I think if that goes in, this game is totally different, and I think we go on and we can win it or at least take a point from it.
Yeah,
for definite.
Yeah.
Fulham had a few opportunities. There's one header over the bar was quite close.
Yeah, Tete first half, wasn't it? Yeah.
But I don't remember Kaminsky having to make many other saves.
No,
Did he have to make any saves? I
don't remember.
No, a couple of free kicks from a similar position.
Straight at him. I think it's
25. Well, one of them. I think one of them was wide, and that wasn't it.
Listen, while we're on it, Salisbury's efforts with this refereeing team. Firstly, Kaminsky gets booked for time wasting in 20 odd minutes in.
Yeah.
Which is pathetic, and for some reason, I think we'll talk about it a little bit differently in a minute. And then, we had that incident with Morris in the penalty area. He was basically, maybe they thought they was in France playing in the Rugby World Cup because it looked like a rugby tackle, didn't it, Taro?
More like TMO. That's probably what they were looking for. What's TMO? I can't find it. Don't worry about it. It was just absolute nonsense, wasn't it? What's he? I mean, look.
And he was looking straight at it. The referee blew the whistle for the free kick. Came over. He's looking straight at it. And that is why the conspiracy theorists will go, "Oh, is there an agenda?" The woe is I and all this lot. But why wasn't VAR looking at it? Why wasn't he given a penalty? It was a clear penalty.
But this is the thing every week that we're saying. Why isn't VAR why isn't it active? Why are we not seeing it? Because, there's certain law says, it has to be a clear and obvious mistake or this and that. Come on, if that's a clear and not a clear and obvious mistake,
then what is? Well, you can't define what clear and obvious is, and that's the problem.
That's the problem. Is it subjective now, is it, to anyone?
Well, because they're all in the same boat. It's just a referee with a telly, and the referee with a telly is not on the pitch.
Yeah.
It's just
and also the Fulham player, I think it was their American.
Whatever his name.
He trips him with his hand, and then he stays down injured.
Yeah, rolling around like he'd been kicked.
I know. It's sick.
Yeah, you said he goes sick. Yeah, it's sick. Yeah.
I believe that we should have had a penalty, but that wasn't even checked, was it?
No,
that wasn't even checked. So actually, delighted to get in at 0-0. I felt we'd done really, really well to get in at that. Second half coming towards us, and we're thinking, we're going to score here. We're going to score. It really felt that we're going to get it. And we had that, I can only decide as head in hand moment for me when the cross came in. Was it from Brown to Bell? To Bell.
Man.
Anywhere else, it goes in.
He's just almost cushioned it back on target, and again, you think, You've got to take that chance, haven't you? You've got to take that chance. Again, I know it wasn't a sitter, but you got to take it.
Do you know what it was? At the time, I said, where I was watching at the angle you get from the TV, at first I thought, do you know what? He's done well to hook it back kind of thing. I thought it was a bit more of an angle what it was. Second time I've seen it from another angle, I've gone, that has to be a goal.
Yeah.
Any other player, if that's a striker that goes in.
Yeah, firstly, he was good to get in that position himself.
Of course.
You'd have probably wanted Colton there or Brown there getting that ball to them rather than the other way round.
Yeah.
But Bear will know. He will know that he probably should have done a bit better of it. But do you know what? We're not bashing no one. It is what it is. These things happen. We've seen some of the best players in the world who miss chances like that.
And worse. But with that in mind, we're still playing well, and then we get the sucker punch. And that's where it does your head in. Let's talk about the handball incident first, because he definitely controlled the ball with his hand before he played it. Why wasn't that called back? Why wasn't it called at the time? Again, the referee was really well positioned.
VAR doesn't work. That's why.
No, but it is just another poor, rubbish decision by the ref. Michael Salisbury, he done it all afternoon.
Well,
should we send him a nice letter after this?
What letter would you send? C? W?
Well,
either of those, without a shadow of a doubt.
I was thinking more C and a U, but yeah.
When the handball's not given, and we all shouted for it. Colton Morris standing right next to him shouts for it.
Yeah.
He then gets control of the ball. He then plays them in.
Yep.
And the cross comes over. Now I genuinely want to question Kaminsky's dive out for that.
I think he was blindsided a little bit by the diving header. Was it from Burke or whatever?
Berg made an effort to head it out for a corner, but surely, regardless of that, you're not on your heels. You're still on your toes, and he just seemed to react at the last minute. to me, he was on his heels.
We often say on this podcast, and I know our former presenter said it all the time, if we're going to lose to a worldie, but we haven't done that, have we? We've given them that goal because it's so disappointing to concede in that fashion. If they'd have scored from 30 yards or 25 yards, I'd go fair play, but it was such a soft goal to concede.
It was terrible, I'll be honest. It was an absolutely terrible goal. You know, when that went in, you thought, yeah, what's the point? Well, not in a negative way, but it's just like, it just sucks the life out of everything, doesn't it? Like,
we've said in the previous couple of podcasts about letting in crappy championship goals, and this was just another soft, stupid goal.
I mean, look, like you say, look, personally, right, going to Kaminsky, just for touch on a second, I like the guy. I think he looks like a secure goalkeeper. I know, okay, he's made a mistake there, which I think it is his mistake personally. And I think maybe potentially, did he make one the other week or whatever against West Ham? Yeah, against West Ham. But look, apart from that, I like the look of him. I think he's a good goalkeeper. But I think we just need to cut stuff like that out. And I think if that does happen again, I think you're going to see Tim Krul coming in. That's what I think.
Then after Fulham scored, I generally thought we could still get back in it, Steve.
I thought the substitutions that we made...
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, they were fantastic. All of a sudden, on Elijah, I think he's probably our best striker for pressing. I think his work rate, since he's got his injuries sorted out, I think his pressing, I think, is absolutely relentless.
It's key last season, wasn't it?
Now, the fact that maybe, what was it, like around the 70th minute, so maybe they were tiring slightly. We brought on Elijah, Benny, there was Corley, Power, Doughty. We were 2 yards nearer than them. They didn't have all the time to look around, make their pass. We were putting them under pressure. All of the subs done a really good job. I thought that Morris was almost looking a little bit tired during the game, but the subs made a great impact. But the first 20 minutes of the second half, I thought we were just really took the foot off the gas. It seemed a really slow pace to me, and a lot of people sort of around where I was were come on, get into it, put the effort in. Mm-hmm. And when the subs came in, it did. Now
the tempo changed a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe slightly too late potentially.
You said he should have brought them on a bit earlier.
No criticism, but sometimes you think, especially, I'll be honest, Benny for me, I think he has to come on early. If things aren't going your way, this guy can change things. I like the look of him, and I think he'll be key for us this season. I genuinely believe that, but I just think
Yeah, I thought Benny was really good. I mean, I know it's different because they may have been slightly tiring in that, but he's fast and he's direct. Mm-hmm. And now my worry,
as well.
My worry is not Luton going down; it's Luton going down having not done what we've done the last few years,
regressing things.
I want that outrageous press. I want that endeavour. Well, and it just felt like the first 20 minutes of the second half, we took our foot off the gas to me.
Is that a tactical thing though, maybe? Sitting back and reserving and then looking at certain areas and thinking...
Maybe, but if we're going to go down, I want to go down doing it the Luton way.
Yeah, no, of course.
You talk about the Luton thing, there was that one last opportunity for Lockyer at the end there.
Do you know what? I didn't realise this was a chance, to be honest.
It was a big chance.
At the time, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't have the angle that you gentlemen had, so... What I saw, it got whipped in. Obviously, I was contending with other things in the house. But anyway, whatever. To me, it was like the ball got whipped in. He was nowhere near and he missed it. Because I saw it from a bit of a distance. But looking back on it afterwards and the replay, I thought, Jesus, come on.
And there's what could have been. And if we just look at the stats for a minute, then possession-wise, we didn't have hardly any of it. And we knew that.
Yeah.
They had almost twice as many shots as us. Yeah,
about
we had both the same on target.
5 of them for about 30 yards out, weren't they?
Yeah.
2, 3 free kicks, something like that, from 30 yards out as well.
Listen, I'm not panicking yet. I'm here.
Not panicking at all.
I'm here enjoying the ride at the moment, and I have to say, it was the most gutted I've ever been. And the other thing I didn't like about Fulham, if I'm going to say this in advance, I was always pretty impressed with them on Match of the Day when they were doing that scarf waving crap. And then everybody has a bloody scarf. Until I go to the ground and I realise that everybody's given a scarf over the back of their seats.
Oh, wow.
Every single Fulham fan gets a free scarf. Yet they can't send out their little their little new stand, which is lovely. And I never get over going in the same entrance as the Fulham fans.
I know.
It's
That's why it always
ridiculous.
kicks off there as well.
It's weird. It is weird.
Does it quick question. Did it kick off on the weekend? No, it didn't.
No,
this
it's the
time.
Premier League. They
Brilliant.
was all having their sandwiches when we were leaving.
Right.
We touched on Michael Salisbury, and we sort of have to ask. I mean, we have to be realistic. They're doing their job, and they're trying to do it to their best ability. But it's not the first time Michael Salisbury's made problems. He didn't call something on VAR. He was suspended for one game in April,
Right.
in the Premier League. So I just can't. I can't tell you how inept I felt he was on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was useless.
But not just him, his refereeing team, his linesman.
How many officials have they got as well officiating in the game? Like how many are there? You got your VAR team. Obviously, I know they're like something completely different. You got your fourth official. You got two linos. You got.
It's probably 8 or 9 people
You
watching
see what
the
I'm
game.
saying? Yeah.
And
And they're all communicating as well.
I mean, look, we've seen it before at any level. You've seen people play up to the ref. You've seen the things, they've said now, if you start brandishing a fake card, you're going to get booked yourself. If you complain about something, you're going to get booked yourself. Heckenbom, what's his name?
Paul Heckenbach.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant.
Honestly, what he said about the Premier League ref in his game against Tottenham, he was 100% correct. They don't know enough about the game to have an opinion on how to play it.
Exactly. Do you know what? A lot of people on social media, right? Usually your top end, your Premier League, top 4, top 6, all going, look at, Heckingbottom crying, blah, 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 all this sort of shit, right? Sending memes and whatever. But yeah, anyone out like who was proper, not being horrible, but, people that lower down the divisions that understand things a bit more. That's nothing rude, by the way, against people in the top 6, because there would be people that do understand things. But he made a very good point. Well, very good point, should I say. And the fact that people were giving him shite as well on social media. I don't know if you gentlemen see it. Some of the crap he was getting.
No.
But what he said, I agree with it, every single word of it. He was, because he come out, he'll probably get, £100,000 fine for that or something like that now.
Just one very quick thing on that Spurs-Sheffield United. Work with a Spurs fan, and he said that Sheffield United players were doing all the stuff that you absolutely hate. And that includes players getting injured and then rolling back on the pitch. Their point of view is the amount of added time was absolutely justified. Apparently it was all the normal sort of delaying tactics, changing your throwers and all that good stuff. And that's fair enough. Sheffield United have tried it. They got so close to doing it, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
but
of course.
That's the way it goes.
As an
isn't it?
overall kind of thing about refereeing, obviously I didn't look into that bit. I was more looking into the fact he was saying about obviously the fact that the Premier League referees, they're not good enough, this and that, which I'm pretty sure he said that, didn't he?
Oh yes,
In pretty much those
he
words.
said they don't know the game.
Yeah.
And the reason his keeper was booked was because they were readjusting to an adjustment by Tottenham. And I felt a bit like that on Saturday. I felt like we were conned. They were conned for a lot of the performances. There was a guy running down our left, our right, so as they're coming towards us.
Yeah.
And he was nowhere near tackled, and he went over like he'd been hit by a bus.
Yeah.
And the lino was flagging, and just everything was anti-Luton that day. And I know we've all got our rose-tinted specs on, fellas. I know that.
No, I don't think it is that though.
Yeah, but you just realise that. I mean, for when we did get a decision, you could just tell by the ironic cheers that he was having a crap game.
Right? You say obviously I know we've got like you say about our tinted spectacles on blah blah and whatever else, but do you know what it is? The thing is, right? I speak to people when I go to the pub and whatever. I speak to opposition people, opposition fans and whatever else. And do you know what? They always say the same thing. Like I always get the same thing of like, yeah, but you probably should have had a penalty. Like the referee didn't really help you out, or it always goes back onto officiating or decisions made within the game that have then like cost you something.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that you shouldn't rely on referees. You have to rely on yourself. I get that. But sometimes if someone's paid to do a job, and these guys get paid probably about £1 million a year plus like a game per game or whatever else, you know what I mean? And whatever else, do your job properly. And even if they've got an agenda, if it's true, we don't know. Maybe they're just shocking. Maybe we give them the opportunity to do that.
It's just so inept that you think, well, surely you can't be that crap. Surely it must be. So, but
But you see it week in, week out. In any single game, though, you see it. I'm sure there's better. Sorry, Dave. I'm sure there's better officials in the conference than there is in the Premier League. I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying.
I don't know. I can't.
Oh, actually, to be fair, they are pretty poor as well, aren't they? Can't really say, yeah,
Listen,
maybe not.
We love a ref when the decision goes your way, but there was too many for us on Saturday that didn't go our way. And I bring you back to the penalty incident. Like Steve, you said earlier, the referee was directly in line. He wasn't like 30 yards away. He was real close.
Yeah.
But if you've got all the technology, I don't want to rattle on about VAR again, because you've got another 3 or 4 people watching that game, or one proper ref, and then assistants up there looking at the thing and discussing that thing. How can they miss these chances? I don't give a shite about clear and obvious, because it's pathetic.
Yeah.
It's still a game where it's open to things going wrong, and when they go wrong, if you haven't got VAR, you go, oh well, it's gone wrong. But when you've got everything else there to back it up to stop this happening,
you've got the opportunity to look at it again.
When are these referees going to be held responsible for their actions?
I'll tell you what, I've got a question for you both, right? Do you think, since VAR's come into place, do you think the whole decision making with obviously even the laws for etc. they get changed and whatever? Do you think it's gone backwards?
Referees have become more indecisive because they're using it as a comfort blanket. They're using it to fall back on, and sort of almost let the VAR make the decision.
Do you feel like they're pressured though? Do you feel like they're pressured to actually feel like, oh, actually, do you know what? The cameras are on me. The cameras are on that decision constantly.
No, I don't think so. No. I just think that they've got into a comfort zone. Then they're not prepared to control and sort of own the game, so to speak, and make the decisions themselves.
Just in case it's wrong, and just in case it's put up on the TV, and just in case it costs them their job, which it should if they're inept. We ask you guys, do the refs favour established teams in the Premier League, or are they just inept? Andy says inept, most probably. They're too reliant on their safety blanket, VAR. They've forgotten how to manage and ref a match. Luca, in my opinion, yes, the FA have had an agenda against us for years, ever since Mike Newell exposed the whole Football League for their illegal agent fees. Gary says referees are poor throughout all leagues. If only had someone like the late, great Roger Skinhead Kirkpatrick. Yeah, that's one for the old people. Will, probably incompetent, but the lack of discussion or acknowledgement of referee mistakes against us does make me wonder. Lee thinks, I think if you can put enough pressure on a team, you'll create more moments, decisions for the referee to make. I mean, refs aren't perfect, but we need to focus on us.
Yeah, I get that. But like I say, going back to it, I get that we need to focus on us, like I said a second ago, but they need to do their job as well. You tell you what, right? You gents, right? If you do that in your job, right, you majorly cock things up on a regular basis, what are you getting? You're getting a warning, then you're getting another one, then you're sacked. Is that right?
Well, that's true.
Well, you see, this is it.
Well, not me actually, because I work for myself. But
I mean, to be fair, Dave, you could lose your license. So
yeah, there is that. Just one more. Simon says inept. It's not even up for discussion. Simon, I'm sorry, we've already discussed that. Looking forward, we got some really, really crucial games now, and I have to say, must-win games for us. I really feel that we need to get some points on the board now. Wolves, Exeter in the cup. Hopefully, we can put a decent team out to get a result there.
Yeah.
Everton and Burnley are the 3 that we need to get something up. So, do we change formations, and how many points we get for the next 3? But I'll let you go first.
See, I know at the beginning of the season everyone was like writing Wolves off, but you know what? I've been really impressed with them this season. I think they're playing very well. I know we're at home. I'd like to say we're going to get something from it. If we can get a point from that, I'll be happy, personally. Get the ball rolling. Everton away. Yeah. I mean, they're a bit sore at the moment, aren't they? From obviously, losing yesterday, on Sunday, and whatever else. But I just think we need to look at the games. Is it Burnley's away? Is that home?
Yeah,
that's the home game, isn't it?
That's the home one.
Yeah, that's the one that's rearranged, sorry, yeah. So I think, how many points we get for the next one? I don't know. You just can't tell. I'd like to say we're going to get 9, obviously, but
9 would be handy.
Realistically, I think you can probably look at. I think we need to aim for 5.
Need to aim 5. So, Steve, talk about Everton just briefly. They and all the Everton fans are going, oh, it's only Luton coming.
Yeah, that's great, and that's exactly what we want. But in fairness, from what we've seen of Everton over a fairly sustained period of time, it's only Everton. I thought some of their decisions on Sunday with passes and things like that were atrocious. Again, if we play well and to our ability, I really think that if that Everton turn up, they're there for the taking.
Is Wolves a must-win?
No, it isn't. But the first point is going to be the hardest. Okay, once we've got that monkey off our shoulder, then it's gone and we can move on. So the first point is going to be the hardest. I genuinely think that we're going to get between 5 to 7 points, and I think 3 of them will be at Everton.
I really hope so. Go on, Dave. What do you reckon?
I think we're going to beat Wolves.
Yeah,
and then it's going to get the ball rolling. I think we need
a lawless volley.
I don't care who scores. I literally don't care who scores. I just hope that.
Where's John Shaw for the assist, though?
Yeah. I just feel that we can beat them, and then we get that momentum going. If we lose at Wolves, then the pressure's on at Everton. If we lose at Everton, then it's even more pressure at Burnley, and then we've got Tottenham, who should be a walkover. Anyway,
what can I just add something quickly? Right, what I'd like to say is, right, the thing is, if we the next 3 games, for example, right, if we were to get, say, I don't know, 5-6 points out of them 3 games, I think then the whole league looks at it and goes, okay, do you know what? Luton aren't as bad as I think. Then like the whole general view on us changes.
If we beat Wolves 3-0, we'll be above them in the table.
Yeah,
simple.
This is it.
And then you can go, right, we're above Wolves now. If we beat them 2-0, we're on the same point, same goal
difference. The question
difference.
is, will everyone be writing us off if we get a result against Wolves and then Everton? Will everyone be going, oh,
well, of course they'll be writing us off. Of course they're going to be writing us off.
But will they, though? Because at the moment, it's almost like, oh, you've got 0 points, you're on -8. You're terrible.
No, they will write us off because that's what the agenda suits. It's easy to write us off because we're small Luton, we've come from the conference, so it's easy and it's lazy journalism, so that's what people will do. I think if we were to get 0 out of those next 3, then I think confidence-wise we'll be in a poor place. Yeah. So we need to get some points.
Pataro, Rob Evans is safe, isn't he? Rob Evans is safe.
Oh yeah, that's not even a discussion.
Mate. Of course he is. This guy's going nowhere.
Or he could join this pod if he does get sacked.
Oh, mate, yeah, imagine that. Yeah, but then I won't be the best looking one here then. Oh, no way. But anyway.
It's not even a discussion, Dave.
So we did ask, do we need to change formations and how many points we're getting from Burnley? There's a couple of points on here that I'd like to read. Luton Town Exile says, don't think it's bad to change formation if it means we get a better chance of winning a game. That's obviously the way Rob Edwards will go. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet against any of those 3, so all depends on us scoring. It pains me, but I can't see us getting more than 2 to 4 points. No.
It's miserable, isn't it? That is.
The formation thing's a difficult one, though, Dave. If you go 1 up front, it stops midfield from potentially being overrun. But then the man up front is going to be isolated because I don't know if we're going to have the mobility to get around him quick enough on a constant basis. So, I think it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't ones really on the formation.
I think, sorry, quick question for you both. Have we seen a change of formation a few times? Oh, I know Hudson, he's obviously agreeing or whatever. He obviously got a different opinion, but shut up, mate. Come on. Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
dog out, Dave. Give him a treat or something.
Carry on.
But what I'm saying is, I feel like we've seen about 3 different formations this season already. I feel like, obviously in possession and out of possession, I think there's a different system, which is natural anyway. But I feel like I think the other day it was more like 5 at the back rather than 3 at the back with wing backs. For me, that's what it seemed like. And that's why Bell went as a flat left-sided defender.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, because I don't tend to study the formations too much. I'm just watching the game unfold in front of us, to be honest with you, so I'm probably not the best one to ask for.
Colin says, no, we need to be more clinical. Same story it's been so far. You can't score from really good 3 good chances. Dave says, no need to change formation, but be more aggressive. I think we touched on that. Not against everyone, but Fulham were beatable if we'd have played with more intensity instead of sitting back. And finally, a finally one to finish with here is Alex. Crystal Palace lost their first 7 games in a row in 2017 season. They went on to finish 11th. Nobody started panicking yet. We're getting better and better each game, and I think that's probably why I was so disappointed at the weekend when we left that stadium, because I realised it was our best performance.
You want to get your just desserts, don't you?
And we deserved something out of that game, and we didn't get it. I mean, big up to all the fans that went. It was immense. Again, the rest of them couldn't hit Fulham really at all until they scored.
I'll put it this way: all I could hear was Luton. I was
going to say that atrocious fans.
Yeah.
They really were.
They've always been dreadful, don't they?
Well,
dig there. Sure, they'll get a bite as well on social media or something. Never mind.
Well, it doesn't matter. Fulham, take your money, take the points. You know, you got the points, and you know you can belittle us all you want, but actually we did all right, and we're looking forward to the next 3. It's time to make some points. Time to get on the board.
Yep.
I think we've done it all tonight, fellas. So thank you very much.
Sorry, one thing which pops to my mind as well, right?
Okay.
No.
We haven't done
just
it
a
all.
quick thing.
Go for it.
Because I wanted to say this earlier, I completely forgot.
Okay.
How was that Polinia not being booked? Like,
for the kick up.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's crazy.
See, you go back
that
to
refereeing decision.
Yeah, it's refereeing decision.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shocking.
fairly, it was right in the.
It was
in the
clear.
well,
God.
let's be honest. He'd been talking high pitch for quite a bit, wouldn't he?
Joe Pasquale would have been.
But it was a terrible decision. And then he gets up and waves it away. It's like, get up, you freak. You know, I just, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. It doesn't matter what level you're at. I hate VAR. We've all hated VAR. Lots of people, but it's there. It doesn't pick up those sort of things. It's not there for that. So, you know, that's how life is, I'm afraid.
Well, yeah, it is what it is, ladies and gents. Sorry, Dave, I just ruined your little outro.
No, don't worry about
mate.
it. I'm just going to do it again. We've got our exciting fixture coming up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. There is a chance that we might get our first 3 points. For me, personally, that's how I feel we go. If we start well, keep up the noise at Kenilworth Road, things will be different. We will get in there. Don't give up on the team. Don't give up on the management. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Love to hear your comments. Oh, like to say hello to Jack for listening and coming over to say hello on Saturday. If you see us out and about, please say hello. We'll see you soon. Come on, you at us.
Yeah. Take care, boys.
Up the league we go.